My friends, life is not a game of constant addition. It is a work of careful subtraction. What you remove determines how light, focused, and unshakable you will become. Control versus chaos has always been the invisible battlefield of human life. Every day, we are confronted with situations, people, and events that pull at our attention, demanding energy we cannot afford to waste. We often throw ourselves into conflicts, arguments, and struggles that, no matter how passionately we fight, will never bend to our will. The truth is simple. Much of what happens around us is beyond our control. Yet, we exhaust ourselves trying to dictate outcomes, trying to twist the uncontrollable into submission. In doing so, we drain our spirit and rob ourselves of the calm that could have been preserved. Life is too short to fight battles you can never win, and yet many of us live as though time is infinite, scattering our energy into every storm that passes. The only true strength we can hold lies in governing ourselves. It is within our grasp to master our thoughts, our choices, our responses, and our discipline. These are the weapons forged in the fires of reason, and they are the only weapons that matter. Imagine a person standing in the middle of a storm. The wind howls, the rain lashes, the thunder shakes the sky. If he tries to fight the storm, to command the rain to stop, or to challenge the thunder with his own voice, he looks foolish and only exhausts himself further. But if he accepts the storm as it is, plants his feet firmly, shields what he can, and waits with patience, he survives with dignity and peace. This is the essence of choosing control over chaos. Not pretending the storm does not exist, but understanding which battles are worth your energy and which must be surrendered to the natural order. The mind that chases control of the uncontrollable will always remain restless. You cannot stop people from speaking ill of you, but you can control whether you give their words power. You cannot prevent the passage of time, but you can decide how each moment is spent. You cannot change the nature of another person, but you can discipline your own reactions. Every wasted effort to control what lies outside of you becomes a chain pulling you deeper into frustration, resentment, and fatigue. The person who learns to set down these chains quietly builds an inner fortress that no external force can shake. Life grants us a limited span, and yet many act as though endless years stretch ahead. In chasing outcomes that were never ours to command, we forget to focus on the one domain where victory is certain: our own mind, our own choices, our own path. Control versus chaos is not a grand war out in the world. It is a quiet decision made each day, each hour, each moment. Will you waste yourself fighting shadows you cannot grasp, or will you stand firm in what is truly yours to govern? The weight you carry through life is not always placed on you by others. Much of it is chosen. People gather possessions, commitments, grudges, and desires as though they were treasures, and soon they find themselves unable to move freely. They mistake accumulation for progress, yet each layer of excess only makes the journey heavier. When every step is burdened by things that do not truly serve you, the path ahead feels longer and harder than it needs to be. Detachment does not mean rejection of life or indifference to what is good. It means recognizing that freedom is found not in holding more, but in holding less. Consider how often we cling to objects we do not need. A closet overflowing, a house cluttered, a mind restless from wanting the next new thing. These are not signs of abundance but of captivity. The more you believe you must own, the more you are owned. Each possession demands care, attention, protection. The more you gather, the more you must defend. Yet if you strip it away to what is essential, you will find a strange and powerful lightness. You discover that you were never in need of so much. You simply believed you were incomplete without it. Excess does not end with objects. We also carry unnecessary weight in the form of opinions, fears, and obligations. How much time is wasted worrying about what others think? How many hours are lost trying to live up to standards that were never truly your own? You may believe you are chained by society or by circumstance, but in reality, much of the chain is wrapped around you by your own hands. You have the choice to drop it. To step back and ask, does this serve my purpose, or does it simply drain me? Each time you release what is unnecessary, you create space for clarity and strength. Think of a traveler preparing for a long journey. If he fills his pack with every possible item he might want, soon he will stagger under the load and make little progress. But if he carries only what is essential, food, water, shelter, he moves with speed and endurance. Life is the same journey. The excess you cling to is not security, it is delay. By detaching from it, you move swiftly, and the road ahead becomes less of a struggle. Even in relationships and emotions, excess can weigh heavily. Holding on to old resentments, to toxic connections, or to endless comparisons with others robs you of peace. Releasing them does not mean you care less. It means you value your own freedom more. The true strength lies not in gathering everything possible, but in discerning what is truly necessary. When you live with less noise, less clutter, and less need, you gain a sharper sense of what matters most. And with that clarity, each step becomes lighter, each choice simpler, and each day freer. True strength does not shout. It does not demand recognition, nor does it seek applause. Real discipline lives in silence, in the quiet choices made when no one is watching, in the unseen sacrifices that gradually shape a person into something unshakable. The world often glorifies noise, the loud boast, the visible display, the dramatic gesture, but such things are fragile, relying on external eyes to give them value. Strength built upon recognition dissolves when the recognition fades. Strength built in silence endures because it does not depend on anyone else. Discipline is not measured by the single grand act but by the consistency of small, deliberate choices. Waking before dawn to work, choosing restraint when anger tempts you, walking away from distractions that promise temporary comfort. These moments rarely bring praise, but they are the bricks that build a fortress within. The strongest changes happen not in a sudden burst of glory, but in the patient repetition of silent victories. A person who masters themselves in private carries a power into the public world that others can feel, even if they cannot see its source. Silence gives discipline its purity. When you do something good only for recognition, you corrupt the act with vanity. But when you do it quietly, without seeking validation, the act itself becomes the reward. This quietness is not weakness, it is strength of the highest order. It means you are no longer a prisoner of applause or approval. You can act rightly because it is right, not because others are watching. A life lived this way gathers a deep sense of calm, because your worth no longer rises and falls with the shifting opinions of the crowd. Think of the roots of a great tree. They are hidden, buried beneath the soil, unseen by all. Yet they are what hold the tree upright against storms and winds. No one praises the roots, yet without them, the tree would fall. Silent strength is the same. It does not seek the spotlight, but it is the very thing that allows a person to stand tall and unshaken. When difficulty arrives, those who rely on outward show crumble, but the one who has built quietly within cannot be moved. In a world obsessed with display, to cultivate silent discipline is an act of rebellion. To train your mind and body, to guard your words, to master your emotions without announcing your effort, this sets you apart. You become like a mountain, steady and enduring, while others exhaust themselves chasing attention. Over time, the strength you carry silently becomes undeniable. People will notice without you ever needing to declare it. Quiet discipline shapes not only how you live but also how others perceive you, because true strength does not need to declare itself, it radiates naturally. The most powerful victories are won without noise. They happen when you choose to master yourself instead of seeking to impress others, when you decide that the opinion of the crowd is less important than the truth of your own discipline. This is where silent strength is born, and once it takes root, it cannot be taken from you. The mind, like a blade, becomes dull when it is constantly struck against distractions. Clarity is not found in adding more, in chasing after endless information, possessions, or recognition. It is found in the quiet act of subtraction, in cutting away the noise that clouds judgment and scatters attention. To sharpen your mind, you must first recognize how much of what surrounds you is unnecessary, how much of what you consume and carry only serves to clutter your thoughts. The pursuit of clarity is not about filling yourself with more, but about removing what weakens your focus and steals your peace. Every day, countless voices compete for your attention. Opinions, news, gossip, advertisements, comparisons, they pour into the mind until it feels overwhelmed and restless. In this flood, truth becomes difficult to distinguish, and wisdom is buried under noise. Many believe that the solution is to keep learning, to keep adding, to gather more opinions, more knowledge, more perspectives. But this endless addition often creates confusion instead of insight. What strengthens the mind is not the weight of accumulation but the discipline to filter, to separate what matters from what distracts. Subtraction brings the sharpness that addition cannot. Imagine a sculptor facing a block of stone. He does not add material to create a statue. He removes. Every strike of the chisel takes away what is unnecessary, what does not belong, until the form is revealed. The same is true for the mind. It is not in cramming it with more noise that its strength is revealed, but in chiseling away distractions, fears, and illusions until clarity shines through. The sculptor trusts that the figure already exists within the stone. Likewise, your clarity already exists within you. The task is only to remove what hides it. When you cut away distractions, you begin to see yourself more clearly. You discover what you truly value, what you truly believe, what you truly want. Without this clarity, you are pulled in every direction, chasing goals that are not yours, desiring things that bring no peace. With it, your actions become sharper, your choices simpler, and your path straighter. You no longer waste energy on what does not matter because you have trained your mind to distinguish noise from necessity. This is why subtraction is powerful. It requires discipline to say no, to withdraw from the unnecessary, to silence the voices that demand your attention but offer no real value. It is far easier to keep adding, to keep collecting, because it gives the illusion of progress. Yet real strength is found in restraint, in creating the space where your mind can breathe and see clearly. The less noise you carry, the sharper your thoughts become. In a world that praises constant addition, clarity belongs to the one who has the courage to subtract.